On the night of February 9th, 2004, a young woman vanished on a quiet, snow-covered road in New Hampshire. There were no screams, no signs of a struggle, no witnesses to an abduction, just a crashed car, and a timeline that makes less sense the more you look at it. To this day, no one knows what happened to Maura Murray. Maura Murray was 21 years old, a nursing student at the University of Massachusetts, Amherst. By all accounts, she was intelligent, athletic, and driven. She had a background in track, a disciplined upbringing, and a future that seemed mapped out. But in the days leading up to her disappearance, something changed. On February 5th, just 4 days before she vanished, Maura received a phone call while working her campus security job. Moments after answering, she became visibly distressed. A co-worker later described her as being in a near catatonic state. When asked what was wrong, Maura said only, "My sister." That's all she said. No explanation, just those 2 words. The next day, Maura emailed her professors. She told them there had been a death in the family, that she would be gone for a week. But there was no death. Her family later confirmed this. It was a lie. That same day, Maura withdrew nearly all the money from her bank account, about $280. She then purchased alcohol, Bailey's, vodka, Kahlua, a box of wine, enough for someone planning to be alone for a while. Then she packed her belongings, clothes, toiletries, school books, and printed out directions to the White Mountains of New Hampshire, a place where she had visited before with her family, a place remote enough to disappear. At around 4:30 p.m. on February 9th, Maura left campus. No one saw her again. Hours later, at approximately 7:27 p.m, a call came in to police. A car had crashed on Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire. A narrow road, snowbanks on either side, darkness already settled in. When authorities arrived, they found Maura's car, a black Saturn, damaged, abandoned, and empty. But someone had seen her. A local bus driver who lived nearby had stopped to check on the crash. He spoke to Maura through the window. She appeared shaken but not seriously injured. He offered to call the police. She declined. She told him she had already called AAA, which was strange, because there was no cell service in that area. The bus driver returned to his home and called the police anyway. He reported that the woman had refused help, that she seemed off. Not drunk exactly, but not right. Police arrived within minutes, 7 to 10 minutes at most. But in that time, Maura Murray was gone. Her car doors were locked. Her phone, credit cards, and personal items were left behind. Inside the car, officers found red liquid on the seats and ceiling. At first, they feared it was blood, but it was wine, spilled. The box of wine had been opened. There were no footprints leading away from the car, not into the woods, not down the road, nothing. Just fresh snow, undisturbed. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. Search teams were deployed almost immediately. Dogs were brought in. Tracking dogs picked up her scent. They followed it briefly, about 100 yards down the road. Then it stopped, abruptly, as if she had gotten into another vehicle. That single detail would shape the entire investigation, because it suggested one possibility. Maura didn't run into the woods. She left the scene, willingly or not. But who picked her up, and why? One theory is that Maura accepted a ride from a passing motorist, someone she believed was helping her, someone who saw a stranded young woman and stopped. If that's the case, then everything that happened next occurred out of sight. Another theory suggests she was avoiding police. There was alcohol in the car, an open container. She was possibly intoxicated at the time. If police arrived, she could have been arrested. So she panicked and left. But if she fled on foot, where did she go? Search teams covered the area extensively. Helicopters, dogs, volunteers. If she had entered the woods, especially in winter conditions, there would have been signs, footprints, disturbance, anything. But there was nothing. Then there's the theory that she staged her own disappearance, that everything leading up to that night was intentional. The emails, the money withdrawal, the alcohol, the remote destination. Some believed Maura wanted to disappear, to start over. But if that's true, why crash the car? Why leave everything behind? Why vanish so suddenly and without preparation? And then there are darker possibilities. In the days after her disappearance, investigators focused on nearby homes. One property in particular drew attention. A house close to the crash site, close enough that someone inside could have seen everything, close enough that Maura could have reached it in seconds. Police eventually searched the basement of that residence. It was a disturbing detail that would fuel speculation for years. A confined hidden space, the kind of place you wouldn't see from the outside. The kind of place someone could be taken and never found. But nothing was discovered. No evidence, no trace of Maura. Still, the fact that police felt the need to search the basement tells you something. They believed it was possible, that someone nearby could have been involved. Over the years, other theories emerged. Some suggested Maura may have succumbed to the elements, that she wandered off, disoriented, and died in the freezing wilderness. But again, no footprints, no remains, no clothing, nothing. Others believe she was picked up by someone known to her, someone she trusted. But there's no evidence she had arranged to meet anyone, no confirmed calls or messages, and no sightings. Then there's a possibility that the timing was simply wrong, that the wrong person happened to be driving that road at the exact moment. A predator, an opportunist, someone who saw vulnerability and acted. What makes this case so unsettling is how quickly it all happened. 7 minutes, that's all it took, between the bus driver leaving and the police arriving. 7 minutes for a human being to vanish off the face of the earth. There were no confirmed sightings afterward, no financial activity, no contact, and no remains. It's as if Maura Murray stepped out of her car and ceased to exist. Her family never stopped searching. They returned to that road again and again, organised searches, followed leads, chased rumours, hoping for something, anything. But the years passed and the silence remained. Today, the stretch of Route 112 where Maura crashed is still there, quiet, unchanged. Snow still falls in winter. Cars still pass through. Most drivers have no idea what happened there. But if you stop, if you stand where that car was found, you realise how isolated it is, how dark it would have been, and how quickly someone could vanish, and how easily they could be taken. What happened to Maura Murray? Did she run from the scene trying to avoid trouble, only to meet something worse? Did she accept help from the wrong person? Did someone nearby see an opportunity? Or did she choose to disappear and succeed completely? There are no answers, only questions, and a timeline that refuses to make sense, because people don't just vanish like that, not in 7 minutes, not without leaving something behind. But Maura did, and somewhere out there, the truth still exists, hidden, waiting. If you found this story interesting, or if you want more deep dives into real unsolved mysteries, consider subscribing, because some stories aren't just unsolved, they're unsettling in a way that stays with you long after the video ends, and this is one of them. Until next time.